Hello, welcome to Wednesday night's calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
She hasn't been seen for 9 days. Police in North Yorkshire issue an update on missing Victoria Taylor.
The search is slow and complex, and the team are working methodically in very difficult conditions.
Yes, we've seen underwater search teams here once again today. I'll have more on their investigation in just a moment.
Up of flooding, the Retford residents who claim their concerns are being ignored.
We deserve to live safely in our homes, not to worry, not to, to be scared of the rain, of anything.
A civic reception is being held in Leeds for some of our region's Olympians and Paralympians.
And Ghost Tour, the old abandoned Rotherham United ground is hoping for a new lease of life. But in places, time has stood still. Very good evening to you. First tonight to the search for a 2-year-old's mum who's been missing from their North Yorkshire home for the last 9 days. This afternoon, police revealed that poor weather is hampering their investigation into Victoria Taylor's disappearance, but they refuse to give up.
The last sighting of Victoria, who's 34, was last Monday when she bought items from a garage and walked towards a play park close to the River Derwent.
Well, North Yorkshire Police held a press conference today close to where some of Victoria's possessions have been found. And Jonathan Brown is there for us live tonight. So, Jonathan, did the police release any new information?
Yes, Ian, there have been some developments in this case today, and today we saw police take the quite unusual step of hosting a press statement in this wooded area close to the water's edge. They say that's because they've been quite literally retracing Victoria's steps to this point. Now, Victoria was last seen on Monday, September the 30th. She was seen buying items from a BP garage just around the corner from here in Norton. That was at about 11:30 in the morning. She was then seen near Malton bus station, and today police have confirmed that in the last 24 hours they found more CCTV footage of her walking towards this area of the riverbank. Now, they say that as part of their investigation they found a number of items belonging to her on this stretch of the riverbank, but they do say that they don't believe anyone else was involved in her disappearance.
No indication of any form of third-party involvement has been established, and we're still treating this as a missing person inquiry. As with any investigation, we are very open-minded and will continue to explore all lines of inquiry. Based on the discovery of Victoria's belongings so close to the water's edge, we must accept the significant possibility that Victoria has entered the River Derwent.
Well, this waterway is very much the focus of police's investigation at the moment. Today we saw underwater search teams scouring the river. They've been using special sonar equipment to see what's beneath the surface. But this is a fast-flowing waterway, which makes it difficult for them to do their jobs, which is why they've described this as a slow and complex investigation. They're also using drones and scouring the woodland in this area to try to find Victoria. Meanwhile, Victoria's family, we understand, are being supported by police and the community, keen to find her safe and well.
Johnny, thank you very much for that update live in Malton there tonight, and we will bring you any more information when we get it. People living in Retford who had to leave their homes when they were flooded during Storm Babette say that they're overlooked for support and funding because its population is simply not big enough.
The Environment Agency and the local authority are meeting tonight with flood victims from one street in the town who've campaigned for measures to be taken to protect their homes in future. Katie Oscroft reports.
Lucy Rose's garden has flooded 28 times. She hasn't been back in her home for long because that flooded too in Storm Babette.
I wouldn't say it's the back of my mind, it's at the front of my mind, because until something actually is done, then we are continuously worrying about everything.
How does it make you feel?
It's anxious, worried, really depressed, with the anxiety is terrible with myself and a lot of my neighbours and friends. We just want something doing.
Derek has just moved back into his bungalow after 11 months in a caravan on his drive. The devastating damage, he says, could well have been avoided.
I lost everything. As I say, I've recently lost the missus, and I mean, photographs have gone.
Are you satisfied that enough was done to protect your houses? And
Absolutely nothing was done. Absolutely nothing physically was done.
Do you think this area generally is overlooked?
They don't even know we exist. Nobody's interested.
Mark Wagstaff hasn't been able to grow crops on some of his fields since Storm Babette. He says flooding issues in this part of the country are overlooked.
It's now started coming over on a regular basis every couple of years, and just getting gradually worse. It's just a loss of income, more work. Everything's getting gradually worse. Nothing's getting done. It's your state of mind. It's the worry of people. I mean, people are now getting their homes flooded on a regular basis. I mean, they're in a worse situation than I am.
It's difficult to get some of the work done in areas of smaller populations, rural areas and things like that. And part of what the council's doing, and part of what I'm trying to do, is talking to MPs. I went to Westminster yesterday and spoke to the local MP, and also ministers, to see if there's a way they could be more flexible in the procedures that allow work to happen.
We seem to be in not a worthy area for the money. Our houses are our homes, our livelihoods. We work hard for them. We deserve a decent home and we deserve to be safe.
Lucy will tell the Environment Agency and the council tonight that more money and more support needs to come the way of people who live in fear of when it starts to rain.
Let's cross live now to Retford and our reporter Katie Oscriff. The meeting is taking place now, isn't it, between the council, Environment Agency and residents. Katie, do we know what's actually happening inside there behind you?
Well, Ian, this meeting is just for residents of Dowell Road, where Lucy lives. She's in there and she said that she was going to tell the Environment Agency just what it's like to live where she does, with the threat of flooding again, and that her neighbours believe that their area doesn't receive as much support because not enough people live there. Now, we did ask the Environment Agency for an interview. They issued this statement and they said, "We know the devastating impact flooding can have and our priority is to protect communities from this." They also said they'd spent just over £600,000 since 2021 on Retford.
Thanks very much, Katie. Live in Retford for us.
You're watching Calendar. Still to come on the programme tonight, Standing Empty. We visit Millmoor 16 years after Rotherham United last kicked a ball there.
And after a wet start today, followed by showers, strengthening winds from the north during the course of the afternoon and evening. But that will leave us with a bit more sunshine over the next few days, but we're definitely going to need a layer or two. All the detail a little later on.
Thank you, Kerry. Now, the Newark MP, Robert Jenrick, has made it through to the last two in the race to become the next leader of the Conservative Party.
In the latest vote by Tory MPs, he's neck and neck with Kemi Badenoch, with 41 votes to her 42. Well, our political correspondent, Charanpreet Kera, is in Westminster live for us tonight, and a surprising result, Charanpreet.
It really is, Ian. What a difference a day makes. Yesterday, James Cleverly topped the ballot of Tory MPs. Today, he's out altogether. As a reminder, yesterday he got 39 votes compared to 31 for Robert Jenrick and 30 for Kemi Badenoch. Today, his vote went backwards and he was eliminated with just 37 MPs backing him. That means an MP from our region, Robert Jenrick, is in the final two. This was his reaction.
So delighted to have the support and the confidence of members of Parliament, and now to go forward to the members of the party in the country. I think my colleagues here in Parliament have resonated with the campaign that I've fought, which is one of change. Change for our party, change for our country, so that we bring forward serious solutions to the big challenges.
Well, Robert Jenrick believes it was his policies that cut through. Others say that what might actually have happened is that some of James Cleverly's supporters may have lent their votes to him in order to prevent Kemi Badenoch from going through to the final two, because she's thought to be very popular among Tory members. If that was the case, that strategy spectacularly backfired.
Interesting. So what does this mean for the Conservative Party?
Well, Lara, there are now two figures from the right wing of the party in the running to be the next leader. Robert Jenrick, you'll remember, quit Rishi Sunak's government because he thought the Rwanda plan didn't go far enough. While Kemi Badenoch last week was criticised for saying that not all cultures are equally valid. So Cleverly, on the other hand, a One Nation Conservative. In the next month, Robert Jenrick and Kemi Badenoch will battle it out to get the support of Tory members, because it's them who will determine who comes first on the 2nd of November.
Charnpreet Kaur, live from Westminster. Thank you. And there'll be more on that when the ITV Evening News continues here at 6:30. Here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, a matter of life or death. The warning to Americans with Hurricane Milton just hours away from Florida. Hear how thieves are breaking the law and risking lives to lower their energy bills.
You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line!
And the change to Wimbledon that could make outbursts like this a thing of the past. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Mary, thank you. Who can forget John McEnroe?
Hey, I know. You cannot be serious.
Exactly. I can be serious. Kerry, things are looking very serious, aren't they, with that hurricane that we saw?
All eyes, not just meteorological eyes, are on the eye of the storm in the west, hurtling towards Florida. So we're pretty quiet over the next few days in comparison. We've got a line of lows giving us some colder air, but we've got Storm Kirk over France. There's a weather warning, red warning out there for some torrential rainfall and also some strong and gusty winds. But yes, we have to travel across the Atlantic for a monster of a hurricane called Hurricane Milton. And now it's developed really quickly, one of the most quickly developing or rapidly developing hurricanes in history for the Atlantic. So it started off as a tropical storm, and within less than 2 days it became a Category 5, the strongest of the hurricanes, and it's now heading towards the Florida Keys. Ahead of that, as you can see, this is the eye of the storm. Even ahead of the hurricane, there has been some really terrible storms, thunder, lightning, torrential rain. And so what we're expecting as we head through into tonight and tomorrow morning is it's currently, as we speak, a Category 4, which has sustained winds of 145 miles an hour. And as it hits Florida landfall, we're looking at 18 inches of rainfall. I can't even imagine that. And a storm surge 15 feet high. So I just can't imagine that. Terrifying. So all eyes are going to be following that over the next few days. Of course, the national news will have stories on that. And our weather, which is a lot quieter, will be later on in the programme.
All right, thank you. Now, how do you spend your Saturday mornings, Ian?
Well, normally in bed, recovering from another busy week here, working with you and Keza there.
Yes, I expect you do, but maybe you should give it a go doing the park run, which is 5 kilometres. You can walk or you can run it, and millions of people across the world do it.
Yeah, I've got lots of friends who do it, actually. In fact, Park Run is celebrating its 20th anniversary, as Kevin Ashford can explain.
3, 2, 1, go! Sandal Park in Doncaster, where, like in parks across the country, at 9 o'clock every Saturday morning, people take on a 5-kilometre course at their own pace.
That's the great thing about Parkrun. It is aimed at absolutely everybody. You can come and walk, you can have a stroll around, you can jog, you can run your socks off, you can come as a family, on your own, as a group of friends, and we really are very welcoming. It's a simple idea that's just passed a significant milestone. 20 years ago, this was the site of the first ever park run. There were 13 runners and 5 volunteers. 2 decades later, well, look at it now.
Protect the runners from running into the...
More than 10 million people have now registered to take part in park runs in 23 countries around the world. 900,000 people have volunteered to help put on the events. Paul Sinton Hewitt, who came up with the idea of Parkrun, says he did so initially as a bit of fun for himself and his friends.
It took 2 years to create the second Parkrun. When I created the second one, I knew I had something that would replicate. Anybody can do it. You come down, you meet your friends, you have coffee, you socialise. You don't even know that you've done a run. The run is the least important part. And I think that's the key. You couldn't have dreamt it up, could you?
And for many people, it's become a big part of their lives.
I heard about this thing called Parkrun that was sort of starting to take off, came down and got hooked, and then I've been doing it ever since. Joined the core volunteer team, met my husband, got him involved, had children, got them involved, and still here now.
Having that regular routine keeps you motivated. Being here because you know that everyone else is going to be here gets you out of the door when it's not so warm and sunny in the winter time. So, yeah, it's really helpul.
Keep running, guys! Keep running!
Research carried out by academics in Sheffield estimates that parkrun is worth £667 million a year to the UK economy. According to the analysis, every £1 spent on parkrun returns, for example, £10 in healthcare benefits because of improvements in what's known as life satisfaction for those who take part.
Life satisfaction has a lot of things going into it. Mental health is about 45%, physical health about 15%, and then the rest is things like social connections, partnerships, education, employment. So parkrun can impact on mental health and physical health quite strongly, so that's the largest proportion. That's probably where it goes.
The parkrun charity says it has plans to expand further to get even more people active on a Saturday morning. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
Oh, well, enjoy your next parkrun, won't you?
Exactly, not you though.
No. Well, while we're talking about exercise, it's time for sport with news of a record-breaking Yorkshireman.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Well, Chris is with us in the studio, and I woke up this morning to hear the brilliant news about Joe Root.
Oh, what a man. What a man. He's my hero, is Joe Root. Fantastic bloke. Show my age now, but I remember reporting on his England debut. I do. And now, today, Root's become the country's highest ever run scorer in Test cricket, one talented sportsperson to another. And Georgie Hetherington of the York Valkyrie was last night named the Super League Woman of Steel. Georgie, who was part of the Valkyrie team that retained their Super League title at the weekend, was presented with a reward at a ceremony at the Royal Armouries in Leeds last night. And she becomes the first mum to be named Woman of Steel.
I can't wait to see his little face. To say he's only 4, he's so proud, and you know he understands, and he comes to all the games, and honestly he's just my biggest fan, and I'm just so grateful to have him to share these moments with.
Little Bobby's going to be so proud, isn't he? OK, a little bit of football from last night now in the EFL Trophy. And Huddersfield beat Barnsley 2-0 for the second time in 4 days. Freddie Ladapo scoring his first goal for the Terriers. Harrogate were beaten at Crewe, but Jordan Hugel scored twice as Rotherham got the better of Newcastle's under-21s by 3-1.
Now, it's fast becoming a distant memory, isn't it? The summer, the Olympics and Paralympics, and all those medals brought back home by Team GB and Paralympics GB.
Yeah, well, of course, Ian. From Yorkshire. It's what we do, isn't it?
It
is.
Of
course. Who can forget Tom Pidcock's incredible gold on his mountain bike, Katie Marchant in the velodrome, and, of course, Hurricane Hannah Cockcroft adding yet more gold to her already massive collection. Well, those athletes and more are being recognised at a civic reception in Leeds right now, as we can see. But before it got underway, Arif Ahmed caught up with Hannah and her new husband, Tom.
So, Hannah, first of all, congratulations. You got married at the weekend. So my question must be, should you not be in your honeymoon right now?
Oh, you know what, we hadn't even booked one. There has been time. It was like, we booked a videographer like a week before the wedding, so I'm definitely not that organised, but I need the holiday.
Anywhere you'd like to go?
We're looking at New York. We want to go to New York, so probably not the relaxing holiday I need, but you've got to take these opportunities, you know, make the most of it.
Absolutely. And what a year it's been for you. You know, multiple medals at the World Championships, multiple gold medals at the Paralympics, and you got married this year. Can you top this year?
I don't think so. I think this has been, when Nath and I planned the wedding, we were like, if everything goes as we want, as planned, then it's the perfect end to the perfect year, and it really, really has been. I think we're both desperate for a little bit of rest and some sleep now, but it really has just been celebration after celebration, you know, memory after memory, and yeah, I think we're kind of just going to get through the next few months of just riding on that high and yeah, just enjoying it really, because it's been an incredible year.
It absolutely has, and another celebration tonight with everyone here from West Yorkshire, and what an incredible region of success we've had here.
I think it's fantastic, you know, to have these celebrations. It really shows the sporting power that we have in Leeds, you know. not just the athletes, but the facilities we have, the coaches we have on offer. Leeds just has it all, and getting all the athletes in one room, not only do we get to celebrate that and show the rest of the country what we can do, but it's really nice, Paris feels like it was so long ago already, so hopefully tonight we'll get to share some memories and some stories and yeah, just look back on what was a fantastic Olympic and Paralympic Games.
Absolutely fantastic. And a relaxed end to the year for you?
I really, really hope so, but I always say that and then something will pop up and I'll be busy, so, but I hope so.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, Arif didn't talk to Tom there. He must have been busy tucking into that buffet.
I think he
What do you
was.
reckon? Well, that's it from me, but not quite the end of the sport, is it?
No, it's not, because it's often described as a ghost ground. Millmoor, the spiritual home of Rotherham United, has largely remained untouched since the last professional match was played there back in 2008.
Yes, the ground became unique in that it was never pulled down or redeveloped. It was left as it was, gradually decaying with each year that passed. But there are now signs of new life for the old ground, thanks to the Booth family.
When the final whistle blew on Millmoor's time as the home of Rotherham United, few imagined that 16 years on, the floodlights would still form part of the skyline. The part-built stand would remain unfinished, and the turnstiles would still be gathering dust. Even fewer thought they would ever come back here, but when the owners opened the doors to the public, it was a rare chance to reminisce. And dozens of supporters, former staff and players came from near and far. For many, it was an emotional return.
We've come down because my dad was a lifelong miller, and it was his dying wish to have his ashes here behind goals. So we've come down out of respect for him and to see this place again, because I used to come with my dad.
It's actually always been his dream to come on this site. My nan used to live across road in a little bungalow, and we used to eat raw at match day.
I've just always dreamed of coming here, and my dad told me how good the atmosphere was so good, so I just always wanted to come down.
It's like a museum, isn't it? It's like a tomb. It's just nice, and to get the ex-players down here, it means a hell of a lot. And I played a lot of football here, 500 odd games for the club, and it used to rock, honestly. It was just an unbelievable atmosphere.
The Booth family, which owns Millmoor, has recently invested in tidying up parts of the ground and transforming the pitch. But a lot hasn't changed.
There are still many parts of this stadium that look completely untouched. The manager's office is down at the end here. These windows are where the players used to come and collect their wages, and all of it looks exactly the same as it did 16 years ago.
It was back in 2004 that the late Ken Booth sold Rotherham to a supporter-led group for a peppercorn fee, but the Booth family retained ownership of Millmoor. But when the club eventually moved out, many often wondered why the ground was never redeveloped. Ken Booth Jr. told me he always saw it as a kind of oasis in the middle of their scrap metal business. His father's ashes are buried here, and he says in his memory he wants to breathe new life into it for the next generation. I asked him why he'd never done that sooner.
The thing is that when my father packed it in, the supporters took it over. It took a fair few years to ride that storm out and get everything that were associated with that era finished. And I don't think you could do a new start much earlier. I think we always knew one day it had come back.
The ground is now being used most weekends for youth football, and former Rotherham director Carl, who's helping to coordinate the regeneration, hopes this is just the start.
I'd like to get more people in here and help with the running costs, because it costs a lot to run the ground. I mean, grass grows and you have to have it cut, lines need wear out, you have to have them remarked. This is a good thing that's happening for Rotherham, and we want people to get behind us and back us.
At this ground, steeped in nostalgia, there are shoots of new life and hope for a new chapter. Emma Wilkinson, ITV News, Rotherham.
Isn't that lovely?
It's great that it's still got a future, isn't it? And great also to see how time has stood still. And
all those cobwebs.
I know, living history. Yeah. Really good. Now then, the weather. Let's look to the future. Here's Kerry.
good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, we were dominated by a fairly cloudy and wet start this morning and those winds strengthening through the day. But evidence there has been one or two breaks and a little bit of blue sky coming through. And here and there, a big thank you to Gary Hornby for this shot and also to John Gaskin of East Yorkshire for this one. Weather photos at itv.com. So as we head through tonight and especially into tomorrow, our air mass moves in from the north across all parts of our patch during the course of Thursday. So feeling pretty chilly. And then as we head closer towards the weekend, Friday into Saturday, high pressure sits to the south of the UK. So hopefully it keeps these rain-bearing fronts to the north of us for the coming few days. So fairly quiet, but with lighter winds, there will be some chilly nights. Overnight tonight, quite cloudy, quite showery, still some strong and gusty winds. But during the second half of the night, it does become a little drier and clearer inland. And in rural shelter spots, certainly over the Dales, we could be at low single figures, but not quite as cold out towards the coast. Stronger winds here and a higher risk of some showers. As we head into tomorrow, there is sun time, 7:25 and 6:20. Tomorrow, there's always a risk of a few showers moving in off the North Sea along that fairly keen north to northeasterly airflow, but elsewhere, pretty much from sunrise, some brighter spells developing, patchy cloud, an occasional shower, but mostly dry. In the sunshine, it will feel quite pleasant, but out of it, highs of 10 or 11, that's well below what we'd expect for the time of year. Add on a wind chill, it really will feel quite chilly. On Thursday, a better dose of sunshine, mostly dry, but the night to come will be even colder.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go, drier, clearer, colder, but calmer for us.
Good stuff. Thank you. We like that.
Yes.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much for watching us tonight. We'll be back again with Calendar tomorrow night at 6. From all of us on the team, a very good night.
Good night.
Good night.